Hello, and welcome to another episode of The End of the Search. This is what I call it. It's not about what if, but about what is. If I ask you right now, what is your experience right now? Notice how the mind may go to my experiences that I feel good or I don't feel good. I am happy or I am sad. I have money or I don't have. I would like something to happen or not. See? Notice how the mind is always going there. But if you really settle into what the question is, the only thing that is your experience or the experience is aliveness, beingness. That is your experience, and that is always your experience. That experience never changes, is eternal, is what is. Now, what you're relating to, if you went to I feel sad, I feel this is my experience, I feel bad, I feel good, or whatever, that is not what is. That is a story that is being superimposed of what is, or upon what is. Now let's go back to what is. What is the aliveness that you are. Let me ask you, is that aliveness, beingness, which cannot be defined or described, but I don't know exactly what words to use, but that beingness, that sense of beingness, just don't let the stories overshadow it. Right now, that beingness, is that beingness experience fear? Right now, your direct experience, the what is, can that experience fear, concern, worry, apathy, pleasure, pain? I'm talking about the isness. If you really do the investigation, you realize that what is always and does not experience anything. Now notice how that what is, when you superimpose the what if, that's when all the fear, concern, worry, and everything shows up. All the suffering. But the invitation here is to remain as what is. Now the question that usually arises is that, yeah, but if I remain as what if, as what is, if I remain as what is, how am I going to function in this world? Pay attention. When you remain as what is, all of a sudden you are at peace. And it's not that you will not be making any move. It's not that actions will not take place through you. It's that the place from where the action is taking is from that peace that you are. That's the only difference. Otherwise, if you're engaged in the what if, actions could take place as well, but they will come from a place of fear, agitation, which increments the illusion that you're trapped in. But remaining as what is, life will continue to unfold as it will anyway, but the space from which you act is very different than the place from where you'll be acting if you're identified with the what if. Now, why do we keep identifying with the what if? And what seems so difficult just to remain as what is? Because what if has to do with an identity. You see? When you identify with a person, with the belief you're this seeming human being, overlooking the fact that you simply are, but you think you're that something, every single thought that arises has to do with that something. And that something wants to be protected. You see, it wants to be valued. It wants to be given importance. And that's when we get lost. But when the peace that surpasses all understanding becomes the most important thing, that has nothing to do with the individual. That has to do with the fact that you are. We're pointing to the fact that you are. That is what all these videos are pointing to. So right now, when I suggest don't believe the content of the mind, it's not that you, the individual, not believe the content of the mind. Because the content of the mind is what gives rise to this individual you. When I ask you who are you, without the thought, what remains is what is. You see? And we have overlooked the fact that we are the what is by thought. Do you see? When thought is not in the way, meaning it's not believed in, then life is. And you are life. And you see how life is unfolding through you. Always remembering that the you that I seem to be speaking to is not the one who makes those choices. I'm pointing to the fact that you are alive and choices are made through that instrument. But we don't have to get engaged in trying to figure it out, okay, well, do I make the decisions? Do I don't make the decisions? I made a whole video which is entitled, Do We Have Free Will? The link is in the description, which addresses all of that, just to see that it's very simple, very obvious. But right now, within the context in which we appear to be, I'm asking you, what is your experience? Don't color it with all the thoughts and all the ideas and the beliefs, and tell me, what is your experience? You cannot answer me, because if you answer me, you went back to the mind, but I'm pointing to the fact that your experience is the what is. Do you see? This is what is. What happens is that maybe you're trying to grab this with the mind. Okay, is what is. Well, in reality, the what is happening whether the mind grasps it or not. You see, right now you're being inspired whether your mind gets it or not. When you're sleeping and you're dreaming, you are always the mind that is dreaming the dream, inspired whether in the dream there's a recognition of that or not. The fact remains that you are the mind dreaming the dream. Well, here the fact remains is that you are. That is a fact that cannot be negated, but has been overlooked. Has been overlooked by the what if. What if this happens? What if I do this? What if I don't do that? What could happen? The answer is I don't know. And to take it a little bit further, and it doesn't matter. Because the what is remains untouched by all the supposed what ifs. What is simply life. And you are life. Not this seeming individual who claims that is living life. If anything, life is living you. You are pure aliveness. You are beingness. That's what is. And this is so obvious, so simple. And yet look how overlooked has been. You're always being, no matter what. You're always the isness, the never changing, always present. Then thought colors it with, I am this individual that has this problem or want to solve this or want to fix this or something. And then you overshadow the fact that you simply are. And when this becomes crystal clear, It's not that your life is going to be different or not. We don't know that. But the way you live your life is going to be absolutely different. Living in the world with a mind that is not of it. And you still function the same, but with a different mentality, with a different attitude. You cannot explain this to anybody, because it's not about explaining this to anybody, unless notice how through you the idea or the inspiration to explain it to somebody may come through. But you're seeing how our life is simply using you as an instrument to do whatever it is that you're doing in every moment. But you remain as you are. That's why there's no fixing of anything. There's no changing of anything. There's no judging of anything. And yet, fixing happens if it's supposed to happen, changing happens if it's supposed to happen, and the judgment, meaning not condemnation, but translating, that happens if it needs to happen. That's fine, no big deal. But you remain as you are. You remain as what is. Which is happening right now. Can you say that you are not? Can you say that this is not? This is. Everything else is a story superimposed upon it. If the story is not there, what remains? Don't just listen to my words, do the investigation. If the thought, whatever the thought, it doesn't matter. If the thought was not there, what remains? If you really looked into this, what remains is what is. And if I ask you, what is your experience? You won't say anything, because you simply are. Well, this is the inspiration that came through. I hope it served. And as always, may peace permeate the mind so that love can be extended.